It's the penultimate race weekend of the 2009 season. Drivers and cars moving to Okayama in Japan. Last year, the WTCC made its debut at the former F1 track, also called AIDA. Augusto Farfus took the pole then in 2008, and it was the veterans Rickard Rydell and Tom Coronel who went home with race wins. Well, this year, 2009 edition, inside WTCC magazine, we spent the weekend with our touring car hero, James Thompson. After racing for Seat, Alfa Romeo and Honda in the championship, he took on a new challenge with the Russian brand LADA. And since Porto, he's been developing the new LADA Priora for the Russian manufacturer with some great success. Superb backdrop then to this racing weekend. James Thompson, our man. Well, 2 times British Touring Car Champion, freshly crowned European Touring Car Cup Champion in 2009. He's been a familiar face on the World Touring Car Championship scene for some time. After Seat, Alfa Romeo and Honda, he's now driving the LADA Priora. He's been a busy boy.
Hi, I'm James Thompson.
Yes, James Thompson indeed, West number 36. Nicknamed Tomo, age 35, made his debut in 2005.
Fantastic Japan.
It was a weekend of surprises. After sunny practice and qualifying and warm-up sessions, the weather gods proved that the meteorologists were right and sent heavy rain for the races. Aquaplaning caused an awful lot of incidents out there. Well, dry before the race and then very wet when both of the weekend's races took place. It was madness, really. In race 1, triple world champion Andy Priaulx showed his class, staying out of trouble and swimming his way to second season victory. In race 2, his BMW teammate Augusto Farfus took home the win, keeping the championship wide open. Gabriele Tarquini defended his championship lead, but his advantage went down to just 2 points.
So James, I ask you now to write me down secretly the pole position setter, the race 1 winner and the race 2 winner. And at the end of the show, we check if you were right or wrong.
No doubt wrong.
Well, so far, nobody's been 100% right. A race in the World Touring Car Championship weekend is not easy to predict, that's for sure. So just how close will it be? Will that Zen thing kick in? All sealed up and ready to go. Qualifying then, the first moment of truth. Was it the LADA capable of achieving that?
The main thing is to try and find a little bit of a slipstream because some of the performance we give away is with the acceleration and the aerodynamics of the car, so we have to try and use a little bit of our competitors, which isn't the purest way of doing it, but at the end of the day, lap time is lap time.
James and his race engineer are a little superstitious. Every season they start with the same ritual in Marco's mother tongue. They talk to each other in Italian.
Ciao Marco, come stai?
So Marco, how are you? Very good, very good.
Now it's time to qualify. Let's hope we have a good session.
Well, once the cars get out on track, it's the business end. Who on earth can he start slipstreaming? First, James used the slipstream. It's Tom Borman.
Made a mistake and then got it sideways in front of me, so I had to back off. Come into the pits, Marco. Come to pits.
So back to the pits he goes, ready for another try.
Okay, need to go and get a lap time. Sector light, okay? Sector 1 is really good, only 2/10 from the best. Sector 2 is quite slow compared to the first, the speed. And we don't know Sector 3, but this morning was very good, so it's encouraging.
So it's time for a second run at it. Out he goes.
Position 11. Same lap time of LADA Evans is just in front of you. Very well. Okay, no changes. We just need a better slipstream.
The tension rises and suddenly there are problems.
Power steering fluid in the cockpit. Power steering fluid in the cockpit.
Time for the mechanics to do their best and quickly.
Okay, we have 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go. Okay.
Time running out. Time to get back on track.
So right, James, we still have 2 minutes and a half. 2 minutes and a half to go. No problem for the left time. No problem.
No problem, you just got to do a very, very good one. Just watch him go.
Position 13, 1/10. Very good. Thank you. Really pleased for everybody. Spasiba.
Spasiba is thank you in Russian. So P13, very good qualifying result for the Priora. Not far from the top 8 as well, which is the reverse grid, of course, for race 2. Always handy. Well, on the track, it's the championship leader and James Thompson's closest friend in the championship, Gabriele Tarquini. He's the barn. 5th pole of the year for Tarquini. Great time for the veteran.
It's good to be qualifying mid-grid. I think our race pace could be stronger than our qualifying pace. We lose out a little bit in the middle sector, which is the 2 longer straights, and indeed a 10th of a second would have been in the top 10 shootout, which would have been, you know, amazing.
It's not bad at all. Nothing can happen tomorrow. Understand? It's a very good start.
Can you imagine?
Well, like in 2008, the championship tyre manufacturer is Yokohama and invited the paddock to a Saturday night sake ceremony. So after visiting the Temple of Fortune, James had a chance of another enlightening local experience. Kanpai! Cheers in Japanese. And good night. Well, after the party, everyone goes to bed, but the mechanics and the engineers busy preparing the cars until late into the night. The day what counts is, of course, Sunday. We'll be back after a short break to see just how their work paid off. Stay with us. Early morning, race day Sunday starts with bright sunshine and big smiles out there. Photo shoot for the whole team, and of course the regular autograph session for the fans. Well, LADA is the first year as an official manufacturer, and after they completed in 2008 as an independent team, for 2009, not only changed the car colour from white to red, but also put together a more professional outfit, including double British touring car champion James Thompson.
An interesting challenge, but you know, I'm one for a challenge. I do enjoy not just the driving and the winning; it's really the behind the scenes things that sort of make that happen.
And development was impressive. The team started the season with the LADA 110, upgraded the engine mid-season before making the debut of the new LADA Priora in Porto. From there on, it was James Thompson who led the development work.
The most important ingredients really, you know, is the fact that you know, I'm working with my engineer that I've worked with for a lot of years, and you know, we worked together not only in this championship but in other championships.
The difficult thing was to convince them that any car can be a winning car. And so once we got the first results, everybody was more motivated, and I really appreciate it.
Marco knows, you know, he's worked with a lot of winning teams, so you know how there's a certain way of working, but also a certain way that we work, and I think that we work in quite a direct route, and I think that helps.
A couple of problems. Power steering not working properly. I don't want other cars following me around behind. It's distracting.
Well, this direct way of working has percolated throughout the entire team. Everybody's on board and very focused. Team principal Viktor Shapolov, yes, gave his own cockpit in the series to James Thompson.
James was his engineer. This is like new wave for our team. A big push, of course, because of course all guys want to work hard, more fast, and so results coming, and really all happy. All team is happy of this.
The rack of the car. Let's see how it is in this way. A little bit higher in the front, a little bit down in the rear, and with more wing for the fast lap. Just to have any information regarding the speed. I don't want any more understeer. But I just need the rear to live with the front. I don't want to take from the front to give to the rear.
And after some good performances of Jaap van Langen in Oschersleben and the first point scored by James at Imola, the outlook looks good.
I think everybody was suddenly, oh, crikey, we were competitive. I know one of the stories from one of the other teams, they got on the radio and said, oh, don't worry, Tomo's up front, so you'll catch that group in a minute. And he said after 3 or 4 laps, he was still pulling away from us. And of course, the realisation is, you know, from other people that, crikey, that, you know, we are competing now. So what we got to do now is, that was great. Now we've got to try and compete on a regular basis, and that's the more difficult thing.
Well, competing on a regular basis, it's the order of the day, and indeed of the run into the end of the season. Well, as predicted, the weatherman got it right Sunday afternoon. Well, around noon, the rain arrived in Okayama, and when the rain arrives, it's usually heavy in this part of the world. That's why it's so green around and about on Honshu Island.
The problem is that we didn't test with wet tires with CO. So it depends on how much water we will have on the track.
I try not to make a plan, because usually whatever you plan, it goes totally the opposite way. So just react to whatever happens, and hopefully, the only thing I do plan is to get through the first corner. That's the only plan, whichever way you have to do it, whether you have to avoid somebody, stay out of trouble, or what. I want to finish the race. So that's the plan.
40 seconds to go.
And James leaves the pit lane for the first contact with the wet on the grid.
I have cars sliding even at very low speed, front and rear. So I think we need to reduce an awful lot of, we have no roll, cars just sliding, particularly from the front, massive understeer. I'm going to stop here so we can make a change. Can we make a change quickly? Go to the grid, please. Go to the grid. The car sliding massively from the front of the car, also from the rear. Feels very stiff, no movement. Let's go push stiff with the bars and reduce damping massively.
Very little time to make the changes. Thank heaven they dialed in some sighting laps ahead of the race proper as well. Still concerns though.
Slippery out number 2. Slippery out on track. We start on the safety car. In single formation? Yes, we have safety car is this one line. Yes, single formation. Thanks for following us this weekend, the LADA team and James Thompson, and I hope you enjoy a fantastic race. The car in this lap. Conditions is terrible. There's lots and lots of aquaplaning.
Finally the safety car is off and away they go after 2 sighting laps, just so that everyone could at least get a feel for these conditions. Championship leader Tarquini is the first victim. He goes wide through the gravel. Augusto Farfus follows a little later. Both do go on though. Alain Menu attacks James, but James has the better line on the outside of the corner, gets some grip.
He is only very clever at the beginning of a race not to take any risk, and we will see in the second half of the race. Seems to be not so bad. Yap is also very fast.
The LADAs show competitive speed, battling with the other manufacturers. But finally, Menu launches the next attack, and this time James just has to let him go. Championship contender Augusto Farfus came back from P14 after the start incident and is now on the way to scoring some points. Up front, 2 BMW factory drivers Andy Priaulx and Jörg Müller are battling for the win. After 2 hot final laps, Priaulx takes home his 2nd win of the season. Priaulx wins then. Where's James? Well, finishing the race P11, a good result and a well-deserved congratulations from girlfriend Zoe. We'll have more after this break. Stay with us.
Well, you know, in those conditions where you're really on a knife edge, this track has so little grip. If you get the wrong part of the line that's got the rubber on, it's good night. It's not like we would say, right, find lots of front grip and I'll be faster. I'm not sure I will. I think that you need to find the grip as a whole from the car.
Okay, so we go for the front spring. Disconnect both bars.
Just trying to make the car a little bit more compliant. In those conditions we had quite a lot of aquaplane and the car wasn't very comfortable to drive, so now I need to make it, give it a little bit more comfort zone when you're driving.
Problems again have to be solved on the grid. Windscreen wipers not working properly and the screen ventilation has its issues. Systems vital in these conditions for visibility.
Change something with the top of the car. let's see if it works. We will see. Standing start, we know that. Rear wheel drive, we have only to lose, but we will see.
Race 2, a standing start off the grid. Danger surely into the first corner. They're underway. Well, the field approaches the first corner on the left of the screen. Jörg Müller on the inside, Thiago Montero. Jörg on the grass. They touch and Montero spins into the gravel just behind Tarquini. Yes, rumbles through the gravel as well. A nightmare for the championship leader. Jörg Müller is the first, and a lot follow exploring the gravel traps. The conditions difficult again. James, though, stayed out of trouble.
The wipers are not working very well at the moment, but anyway, he's holding on. And at the moment, his position 8, very well. And Jaap is 6th, so very well for us at the moment.
Van Langen is running in P6 after avoiding a mess on that first lap. Back of the field, Poulsen has a moment that almost takes out Tarquini. James still fighting a problem with visibility.
Petrified. I'm so scared because his windscreen wipers aren't working, but he's doing all right. Fingers crossed.
Visibility, though, is becoming more and more of an issue out there.
Screen is failed. Screen. Wipers are working, but screen doesn't work. See anything? I'm coming into. Hi, James. All right.
Coming back to the pits, unsighted due to steaming up inside of the vehicle.
From lap 1, it was just getting worse and worse. I couldn't see what I was doing at all.
I had to stop because I couldn't see anything. Dan? No, just totally white.
Yeah, close, yeah.
I was braking just from the sides, but in the end, I nearly went into the accident down here?
Yeah.
It was so dangerous.
With all 3 cars retired, the Russian team follows the end of the race on screen. Augusto Farfus takes the win with Prio second, Ivan Müller in third. Tarquini comes home, 2 points he collects, making P7 with the help of his teammates. At LADA, after the first disappointment, the positive impressions of the weekend still remain, however.
Imola, we had 2 6th places, a strong race, and here we've come here and we could have had 2 cars scoring points. So I'd like to think that the positives are we're improving. I'm happy about the fact that and we started with the Priora, we were 3.5 seconds behind the ultimate pace. Just the honest assessment, which was Porto. We've changed many things, team are working really hard, and here we were 1 second off the pace. But more importantly, as I say, 1/10 of a second from the top 10. We were fighting in the race with the top cars. It shows our performance, it shows that it's improving.
So the question remains, did James know what was going to happen this weekend? Time to reveal his predictions.
Ready? So, Tarquini for pole position, because I always thought he'd have a very good chance here with the diesel power. And unfortunate for him, because I was hoping he was going to win the race in race 1, but I think the conditions favoured the BMWs today. And then race 2, that prediction was correct. Augusto winning the race and keeping the championship alive until the last race. So, 2 out of 3, not too bad.
Not too bad at all, as well as the championship standings, and not too bad for the thrilling finale in Macau. Gabriele, Ivan and Augusto, all with chances to take the crown. They'll have to gamble.
So it's goodbye from me. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you tune in and join us in the next race, which is in Macau.
That was Inside WTCC 2009, all Macau, looking forward to the footage as well. December, don't forget, is when you can see the season review. Next year, inside WTCC, we'll be back. Access all areas. Hope to have your company then. But Macau still to come, eh? Look forward to it.